So obviously no update last week. Thought I'd do things a little bit differently this week and be a little bit more casual. I think this is where I want to take this series a little bit more. Maybe just sit down and talk about some stuff. Still talk about what's going on in the training, but largely just give you a bit of an insight and use me as a bit of a case study rather than trying to jump in and talk about sports science in a really specific or technical way, sitting at the desk all the time. I thought it'd be a bit more interesting if you sort of come along with me as I go about it. So that's what we're going to do in this one. As you saw, a bit of training this morning. Got a bit of a long day. Get my training done, gym and bike first. Jump in the recovery boots, bit of PlayStation just to relax, bit of a coffee as well. Get a head in, got a full day of work the rest of the morning and this afternoon, all the way through to about 8 p.m. So long day, but that's what it's like being a sports scientist, but also trying to train and be an athlete as well. So when it comes to balancing all of these components together, whether it's my work side of things where I'm working effectively sort of midday all the way through to 8 p.m. tonight, pretty much back to back, testing in the lab with athletes, doing my coaching, some calls on the side of that as well, trying to then fit in my training, and then all the other stuff like the social side of things as well. Like today, I'm just not even going to get a chance to go and see anyone or have a coffee with anyone because my day is already full. I've got 12 hours basically of jam-packed training, straight into work, straight into everything else that I don't really have time. So that's important for me to take some of those downtime moments. Stress and fatigue overall is multifactorial. And what I mean by that is it comes from everywhere. It's not just our training stress and our physical stress, but it's also the stuff we do outside of that. I mean, in terms of the work side of things, even something as simple as me getting in the car and having to drive 35 minutes to work in a moment, that's another stress and that's another part of my fatigue componentry that's ultimately going to fatigue me overall, but ultimately tap into, well, how do I need to best go about my recovery? Why is it really important that I prioritize sleep and nutrition hydration? It's not just for the physical performance side of things. That's obviously a really critical part of what I do. But it's also making sure that I can go and perform my best at work. It's also making sure that when I do get back into games, and as I've talked about previously, a big component of what I do is making mental decisions, seeing things quickly. When I do get back into that, I want to be fresh and make sure I make really accurate and correct decisions. So that's ultimately where I need to try and balance things out. It's the first little section I've been back at work in a couple of months after coming out of lockdowns. I found it really tricky. And in all honesty, I was pretty tired and fatigued just by going to work and trying to work that in with my existing training schedule. And now, by no means is my training off the charts and crazy amounts. At most, I'm only really training like 7 hours a week at the moment on average. That's not huge, but some of you who might be watching these, who might be doing half Ironman, marathon type running, you might be training way more than that and also still have the work commitment and the social commitment outside of it. So again, it's really important, particularly when we're trying to avoid things like burnout, overtraining, and just wearing yourself down in general. Really good to have a balance. Take some time out. As you would have seen earlier, jumped in the recovery boots, chucked on the PlayStation, had a coffee, just chilled out for 30, 45 minutes. I had a window of time before I need to get ready, grab some lunch and go to work. But use that time to mentally reset, physically reset. For that 30, 45 minutes, there's nothing else I need to be doing other than just chilling out, having a coffee and playing a bit of PlayStation. So hopefully that gives you an insight in terms of my mindset. I'm going to head over to work now. I might try and get a little bit of what that is all about, and maybe sort of if the clients I've got today are nice enough to get me some footage, hopefully we can get some footage and show you exactly what I do, because I haven't really shown that yet up here on the channel. But like I said, I'm going to change things up a bit with these videos. Hopefully it makes it a little bit more relatable in terms of seeing way more day-to-day and just a bit more casual format. I thought I'd just do things a little bit differently this time. So I better get going, better stop talking, jump over to work, grab some lunch before I go, and yeah. So I didn't get any footage of what I was doing at work. I just got really busy and just caught up doing the testing side of things. I've got a couple of reports I need to finish off. Just went for a run before, got my session in for today. And to be completely honest, backing up what I said yesterday, which is the early part of this video now, pretty fatigued. I'm coming towards the end of this current cycle, got deload next week, and I just needed a bit of a break. So I'm quickly going to do some of these reports. Then I'm going to come back and just talk about what I did at the end of my interval session today that I think really helped. And it might be a little bit of an interesting thing to add into your week that I think has helped me a bit over the last little while, but definitely I think can help you as well in terms of managing some of these stresses as well. So I'm going to get this done, then we'll be back in a sec. So what I did at the end of my interval run today, and I've done it over the last couple of weeks, was given that I'm going through and I'm working really, really hard, and particularly today was a real uphill battle, not only literally going uphill on the way out, doing some efforts, doing 4 2-minute efforts on the way out with equal recovery, and then doing 6 1-minute efforts. Had a massive headwind on the way out as well, so heart rate was up, was working hard, it was really tough. At the end of the session, I just wanted to do something that brought everything back down and really just got me into a really good rest and recovery mode, so to speak. So I've actually been using it. I might put a little bit of a screenshot of what it looks like here. The Smiling Mind app is something I've used over the last little while. And I think it ties in well with what I mentioned earlier in the video of all the other stresses that go on. A lot of it can be just up here. The physical side, yes, I was feeling really fatigued by the end of this session and I was working really hard. But the other side of it as well was just like all of those compounding fatiguing factors coming together. What I did was 5 minutes of just listening to the audio, sat down for a bit, 5 minutes, just listened to the audio and just went through one of their programs on the Smiling Mind app. And it's all about mindfulness and looking at just trying to bring everything back to effectively controlling your breath and zoning into just breathing and eliminating as much out of the way in terms of those stresses as you can. So that's something I've implemented. I think it's really useful in terms of balancing out some of these stresses. Taking time, as I mentioned, like the recovery boots, the PlayStation stuff, all of these little things that you can do. You might want to individualize it to yourself, but these are ultimately some other strategies, and using this app has been another strategy for me to get back into a moment of just giving myself a chance to stop and pause and really recover up before I get back into whatever it might be, whether it's my training, whether it's work, whether it's something else going on. Really just give me the chance to reset and recover. So hopefully you got a bit out of this one. Like I said, a little bit of a different format, jumped around a bit. Let me know if you like this format. I think this is how I want to do the next couple. And I think I'm actually going to transition, now that I think about it, more to every 2 weeks. Rather than getting it out every week, putting myself under the pump, I think every 2 weeks is going to be good. Keeping it a bit more casual, not as much sitting down and just talking to you about sports science, more about just what is happening, what am I doing, what are my thoughts. I think probably more than anything, it's going to be more useful for me to get some of that out there too. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. We'll look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. That is it for today, and we'll catch you then.